Once you've addressed the baseline issues, which are soil chemistry and soil physical structure, then you can start to play around with how you actually improve the soil health and start looking at the microbiology, and that's where compost comes in. You don't do anything that's going to degrade the environment or your farm. You want it to be better. I'm Steve Nicholson. You're on Eniver Farms. We're located 30 kilometres south of Forbes in central New South Wales. We're a classic mixed farming operation here at Eniver. We grow wheat, barley, canola, faba beans, lucerne pastures, perennial pastures, run self-replacing merino flock and sometimes cattle. Soils are a living thing. They're actually alive. People think they're just a block of dirt. Soil health is the basis. That's where you have to start. So once you've looked at your farm and done the basic things you need to do your drainage, put the fences where you want them. The next big thing is soil. What is wrong with the soil in the paddock? Agronomy is the key. You've got to understand the agronomy of your farming system. I've been an agronomist for over 40 years, but any farmer can get agronomic services. The big thing is you've got to actually address the macro issues before you start addressing the more micro issues. Compost is like a sugar hit. It actually helps the microbiology in the soil because it's got very few macronutrients in it, but it's got lots and lots of biology in it. And that biology actually helps fire the paddock up, get it going. The idea of compost is it helps feed the microbiology, it helps feed the fungi, builds soil carbon. Unless you've got all of the biology in the soils working in your favour, you're going to have a lot less macro benefit to the crop. So you're going to get poorer structure, less infiltration rate, less moisture in the summer when you need it. Let's look at the history of this paddock. First thing we did was soil tested it, had a look to see what was macro wrong with it. So we knew the soil structure was pretty poor. It's a sodic grey clay that tends to cause structural problems, and it was very, very low in nutrition. You can't change things overnight because it's taken over 100 years of poor farming practices to cause the problems. So we went straight into a minimum till system. Very first thing was sow a big oats crop, and that allowed us to get a lot of biomass, and then we went into our normal rotation. This particular paddock was so poor that we actually put a green manure crop into the rotation, and it improves slowly all the time. You just see the improvement. Bigger and better crops means more and more roots. More and more roots means more and more activity going on in the soil. After about 3 or 4 years, 5 years, we then were ready to start putting out compost. This paddock was now in a much healthier state, but still had a long way to go. That's when you put your compost on. So we put compost on in year 5 and year 6. Don't get me wrong, these are commercial farms. We use commercial fertiliser, whatever has to be done, but we're always mindful of trying to pick the softest option, the minimum amount we need to do to get the maximum yield. And the big boogeyman in the room is always going to be urea. That's where most of our emissions are coming from. So that's where all our focus is in the next few years, is how do we reduce our urea consumption. Compost is much more subtle and can take years to see the benefit of starting to use compost. And this paddock, the system is now cycling. It's starting to look after itself, and it'll have compost again this summer. Soil health is what drives the productivity off these paddocks. Compost is always part of the story. It's not the story on its own. You've got to be tough on yourself. You've got to stand there and say, why isn't that crop performing? Usually, it's very simply a matter of going back to basics again. Doing your soil tests, having a look at the structure. You've got to leave the place better than you found it, or what was the point of the whole exercise?